Hey everyone, we're doing exercise 6.2 in Murach's Visual Studio 2015, which is on page 201. And I just opened up the starter files and I'm looking at the code to the form right now. And that was step 1. Step 2, comment out the return function and the future value function. So here's our function future value. Here's where we return future value. And the book says test the application and see that the function still works. I'm going to talk about why it still works. Because functions return things. If a function does not return something, then it will automatically return the variable which has the same name as the function name. So our function name is future value. When it hits end function, if we haven't returned anything, it will automatically return the thing called future value. Alright, so if I run this 112.1, I get that. You should recognize 1280.93 by now, because we've been doing that these inputs as an example for a while. So 1280.93, great, that worked just fine. And then instead of using future value inside the for loop, declare and use a variable called new future value. So here I declared new future value. I'm using new future value here. I'm not returning anything. When I run this, I get back 0, because remember, the function will automatically return the thing that's named the same as the function, and we don't have a variable named the same as the function. So to fix that, I'm going to just make a copy of this line with Control D, and I'm going to tell it to return new future value. So now 112.1, there we go, that works. I'm a big fan of explicitly returning things, but Visual Basic gives you that shorthand. So that's steps 1, 2, and 3. All right, step 4, using the drop down to the top of the code editor. That's this up here. We want to add an event handler for the double click event of the form. So in the middle drop down, we choose FRM future value. And on the third drop down, we want to choose double click. And it gives us a new event handler that handles double clicking on the form. And then change the name of this event handler, here's the name, to clear all boxes. Kind of see where this is going. And write the code for this handler so it sets the text property for all 4 boxes to an empty string. So these are our 4 boxes. Monthly investment, yearly interest rate, number of years. And the 4th one is txt future value. And then test the application. So I'm going to put in 112.1, calculate. If I double click anywhere on the form, it clears those boxes. That worked. All right. Step 5, in the form designer, our design view, select the future value text box, then select the mouse hover event. So I'm going to go to properties, go to events, mouse hover. Read the description. I'm guessing if I hover, right here. A cursor on the mouse remains stationary inside of the control for an amount of time. Drop down the list and select the clear all boxes. So it'll be executed whenever the user lets the mouse hover over this box. Run this. So I take my mouse, I hover over it, and it's gone. That worked. That was number 5. Number 6, in the form designer, select the yearly interest rate box. double click on the double click event to generate its event handler. I think double click here. There we go. So I selected the box. I went to double click. I found it in the events, and I double clicked over here. This was not here at the time. I double clicked it, and it created this sub procedure which handles text interest rate double click. And then write code for this event handler. It sets the yearly interest rate to 12. So txt interest rate dot text equals 12. There's a couple different ways we can do it, but we'll do it like that. Again, test it. So I double click on the box, it gives me 12. If I hover here, it's going to clear it. If I click once, it does nothing. You have to double click for that to actually happen. And that's that. And then step 7, use your imagination to work with other events. If you're in my class, that is part of the rubric, so I need to see some other event. It should be obvious because I should be able to look at your code and see it, but if it's not obvious, maybe leave a comment when you submit the files. But that is 6.2.